everybody. So this week, as I mentioned, every week you have Sketchbook Projects. And this week, so I've been watching a couple of different courses on this website, and I learned some stuff about creating cartoon characters, which I thought it would be fun to do together. So one of the lessons we're going to do is we're just going to fill up our whole page with a smaller circle and a bigger circle attached to each other. So something like this. Okay, now you can change the proportions of these two, meaning that it doesn't have to be, this doesn't have to be super big and this super small. You could also do something like this, where they're closer in size. And then you want to move this circle, the smaller circle, around the bigger circle. Okay, meaning, so right now, both times I've drawn the smaller circle on the top part of this bigger circle. But what I want to do is I want to start moving it around. So I'm going to do this, and this time maybe I'll put my smaller circle over here on this side. And then I'm going to do another one. And this time I'm going to do my circle up here. And I'm just going to fill up my page. Alright, we're going to add arms and legs to this. Now, normally, maybe when you were younger or when you draw a stick figure, your arms and legs are going to look something like this. So let's say this was your figure and you would draw an arm and legs. Okay, I don't even know if you would add this, but okay, we are not going to do it like this. All right, we're going to divide our arms and legs into two sections, just like our regular arms and legs. So what do I mean by that? So our arms are made out of two parts. The top part of your arm, which is your bicep and tricep, and then you got your elbow, right? And then you have your forearm, okay? So, and then your hand and wrists are attached to your forearm. So even if you are going to draw a straight arm, I want you to add a little circle to represent your elbow, and then the forearm, and then we're just going to do a circle, an oval for the hand. Okay, so same thing for the legs. We have our upper leg, right, the thighs, and then we have our knees, and then we have our calves and the lower part of our legs, and then attached to that is our feet, like that. Okay, so, and then for the feet, I usually kind of do it kind of triangular, or you can do it in an oval shape. So when we go to do our page and add arms and legs to our little bubbles, we are going to do it this way, not this way. We're not going to do like a stick figure kind of hand. So make sure you're dividing it into two parts. That will help you make the arms and the legs move. All right, so going back to this, I'm just gonna make them as different as I can. So the goal is to try to make it as different as you can and as many different positions as you possibly can. This is literally my second time doing this, so I'm learning it with you. Okay, this one is the easiest to me, so I'm gonna start with the easiest. And I'm gonna give this figure some longer legs, and maybe he's about to run, or he's lifting his leg for whatever reason. So he's doing something like this. I don't know why he would do that, but. And I'm gonna pretend that he's standing kind of sideways. So his arm is going to overlap with the circle. It's gonna come out from this side. And it's going to do something like this. This is where his elbow is. And then that's his hand. And then his other arm, excuse me, is gonna go behind this. And then maybe he's just waving like, hello, how's it going out there? And then I'm going to add some eyes and a line to represent his mouth. Okay? All right, that's pretty basic. At the end of this, we're gonna go back and maybe add some more details to these figures. But for now, we're just gonna stick to this, okay? It did get kind of difficult at some points because I wasn't sure what different activities I can have. So if you have a hard time, you can always look at pictures of athletes or people doing different activities, or just observe people around you and see what kind of activities they're doing and what did they look like. What helps when you're doing this is figuring out which direction are they looking at. Are we looking at their side, or are we looking at them from the front view? And by positioning the eyes a little bit higher towards the top of the head, it will make it look like it's looking high up. If you put it in the middle of the face, then it's kind of in their eye level. That's where they're looking at. And if you put it a little bit lower on the circle, then it will make it look like they're looking down. For this, we're gonna leave it kind of simple like this. Now, if you want to get a higher grade, then what you can do is get a marker or a Sharpie or another kind of pen that you have, and you can actually start adding some characteristics to this person. So you can go over some of these. You can change the eyes if you want to, or you can leave them. All right. And then if you wanted to, you can add ears and maybe hair to some of your characters to make it look more interesting. You can dress them up. Okay. So maybe this guy would wear a short sleeve shirt and shorts. All right, and then once you go over it with something more permanent, so you start off with a pencil and then you go over it with something more permanent, then you can go back and you can erase your initial marks. Oops, I forgot to go over this part. Make sure you go over everything that you want to keep, otherwise you can erase something that is important to you. Also with eyebrows and things like that, you can add facial expressions. So maybe this guy is sad and so his eyebrows are facing down. If you want to get some ideas for like facial expressions, you can look at some emojis on your phone or look it up and see what are some things that come up.